An industrialist, a philanthropist, the late Filipino tycoon John Gokongwei was hailed for his business acumen and courage, a visionary with a legendary rags to riches story. In this episode of Managing Asia, we pay tribute to the man many called Big John with this interview from 2007. A true entrepreneur can find opportunities anywhere. Words of John Gokongwei, Filipino tycoon and one of the richest people in Southeast Asia. Known for its sharp intuition and business savvy, Gokongwei has done exactly that. He has found success by seizing opportunities, even in his semi-retirement days over the past decade.
I see an opportunity and go in. If that is an opportunist, then I am an opportunist. But before we go into anything, we really make a study of what. That's why we have been 90% successful in all our ventures.
Quite a selection here.
With his tough-as-nails reputation, the Taipan has built up JG Summit into one of the largest conglomerates in the Philippines, leading in the food, airline, and property sectors.
When you go into business and you are successful, you learn, and you get, you feel you can compete against anybody. That's what my personal feeling is. I live from competition. Otherwise, you will wither away.
Cheers.
Gokongwei, who turned 80 last year, was born into wealth, but he lost everything when his father died and his mother moved to China during World War II. At the young age of 15, he had to fend for himself.
The only thing open for me was either I become a peddler or work for somebody else. So I decided to get a bicycle and become a peddler. And it was a very exhilarating experience. I'll never forget it. In fact, I would look back as one of my best time of my life.
What early lessons did you learn from your childhood struggles and hardships?
Most important thing is to have people trust you. Work hard, the usual thing, and try to get as much education as you can by reading. But there were no schools open then. And austerity. To a certain degree, and the other virtues of, let's say, Confucius. I think I believe in that. In fact, I practice that up to this day.
Gokongwei made his first million when he was 30, running a cornstarch factory, but he struck a bigger gold mine producing snack foods. In the 1990s, JG Summit diversified into other businesses, including telecoms, petrochemicals, aviation, and banking services. A timely move, which analysts say, helped the company weather through one of Asia's most challenging periods, the '97 crisis.
Like our food business, in a recession, I have noticed the last 40 years, it's never been really affected. Airplanes, very bad. Because people have no money to travel, but they have to eat. So it depends on what business. But what is important, you must have reserves. You must have reserves that in a crisis you don't, declare default. Because if you're declared in default, you are in big trouble.
Since then, Gokongwei has aggressively expanded the company's footprint abroad. So where does the visionary get his business ideas from?
I travel a lot, I read a lot. And you ask me about the very big entrepreneurs or business people in the West or Japan or even Asia and what they do. And I spend 2-3 hours reading every night.
How do you spot business opportunities? Just by reading?
No, you read and you know what's going on. Then you travel around, see, and like C2, that's a beverage drink that is exceptionally successful. We launched it two years ago. I knew about the thing by traveling in China. I see every Chinese bring a bottle of wine. What's that for? I said, it's tea. I said, well, the Chinese drink tea for free, You go in there. You said, no, this is a status symbol. Everybody has that. So I had a meeting among our people. We decided to go into it. So we went into it in a very big way. And the success was also in a very big way. We were even astounded by the results.
Do all your business ideas come to fruition?
Not all, not all. There's some that are not very successful. We had an ice cream project that we had for 20 years. We decided to close it. Anything that doesn't give us the return, we just close it.
Your move into aviation and telecommunications really surprised everyone. How did you calculate the risks when it comes to entering new businesses?
Well, first of all, I have 4 rules. First, you make a study whether you can do it. Secondly, do you have the capital or the deep pockets needed? Third, do you have the people? And can you compete? The fourth is, can you sleep at night? I guess I can have all 3. Sleeping at night, so maybe I have a little difficulty, but I sleep during the daytime nap, so I recover. Sometimes at night, when you're an entrepreneur, you're not 95, you always think about problems, But I usually don't. I just go to sleep. I love to sleep. That's one of my virtues, I think. I love to sleep.
So nothing keeps you up at night at all?
Not nothing. Some do, but...
Like what?
Surprises, maybe.
Surprises or crisis?
All crisis, either one,
Looking at your empire, the Gokongwei empire, spanning across 8 core businesses, do you ever get word that a company gets too big, too clumsy, and too slow-footed?
We're in 8 areas, and we feel we're not going to go beyond that. And we're doing very well the last 5 years. It's been increasing. I have put in place a very good. We have a foundation that owns 30% of the company now. I gave half of my shares to the foundation. My son is running it as president. My brother is chairman. And the 2 of them combined have, 50 years of experience in the company. So if I'm not around, they can run it as well, maybe even better, who knows. And we have a complete lineup of very good professionals now. We had McKinsey did a thorough job of analyzing our company about 8 years ago, and they recommended some steps that you are taking, and which we feel is, with some revisions, was very useful for us. And this has made us a more efficient company and more willing to take risks that are more understood risk. So in the end, I think we are in the right place, and looking at competition, I think we will do well.
Definitely, what stands out for me is his innate curiosity. He's always wants to know how things work. He's always interested in the new thing, the new idea. And second is really his long-term vision and courage, that he's willing to make large bets and take on giants. For instance, when he launched Cebu Pacific, which is the low-cost carrier, or he put up a petrochemical plant in the Philippines. The curiosity and the courage are something, to me, that stands out.
What business instincts have you picked up from him?
Well, I hope a little bit of it rubbed off on me.
Like what? Give me an example.
Maybe the entrepreneurship and the ability to. I think my father's always taught me that we're not in this business for the next deal. We're in this business to really. We want to have a business that stands the test of time. So really, my role is to be a steward, but not a conservative steward, but to be to keep the entrepreneurial spirit in this company. You don't survive by playing safe. No, you do have to take bets.
From the days he peddled wares on his bicycle to running one of Philippines' largest conglomerates, John Gokongwei championed entrepreneurship, a badge he wore proudly from start to end. How you think the role of an entrepreneur has changed in the last 10 years?
Entrepreneurship in the Philippines, in Asia, has changed a little. When I started, I could start with a bicycle and end up where I am I don't think you can do it with a bicycle now and where I am. That's one big difference. Second, when I started, I was the general manager. I was the purchasing agent. I was the warehouse man. I was, cashier. I guess now you can't do that anymore. There's certain changes in the environment, but entrepreneurship is still good. You can still organize a group, come with some capital, and go into areas, just like in the US. You have Google, you have Yahoo, you have all this Intel, Microsoft. These are all entrepreneurship. It's starting in the Philippines. You have a lot of this in Taiwan, even in Singapore, in Malaysia some, but mostly in Korea and Taiwan. That's very strong entrepreneurship.
How do you know that you have what it takes to become an entrepreneur?
Well, you can do it. You can do it. Some people just like 9 to 5. They don't want to have the headaches. Entrepreneurship is very challenging. It's very worthwhile, but it's also an area where you have a lot of headaches, pressure, sleepless night, but it has its rewards. I would choose entrepreneurship anytime.
How much of what you did was based on pure gut instinct?
I don't think there's guts. Like if you're selling a bicycle, you don't need the guts. You need hard work and ingenuity. But as you grow bigger, now like us, it's a different ballgame now. You have to have so many staff work and, I don't know, personally from my viewpoint, there's too much staff work now being done. Before we go into any projects, there's so many staff work that from what I knew before, it's different. But I agree with the new setup. It's better that way. It's easier to make not make mistakes. You can find out before you do it.
In today's competitive environment, how do you formulate a killer strategy?
It's not good to wow your opponent. You must leave them some part of the market. Because if you wipe them out, some governments may not like it.
The Philippines is known for its political upheavals. As a businessman, how do you manage and adapt change?
You learn. When you're been in business since you're 15, you learn. You learn. I passed through President Rojas, Quirino, then you have Magsaysay, Garcia, all the way down to Mr. Arroyo. You learn. After you've gone through about 10 presidents, what is more important is the policies of the country. Like now, we're part of the globalization efforts. Whether it's good for the Philippines, I don't know. Up to now, I'm not quite sure.
Do you have any advice for entrepreneurs on how to make it this far and this big?
To make real big money, adapting to change, I think, is critical. Because if you are in the wrong business, you may be the smartest guy alive. You can't make any money. You have to be able to pinpoint with at least some accuracy where the economy is going, and in that economy, what kind of businesses are required, and then go into it. Say a guy is making carriages, then the automobile industry comes in, you still get stuck to carriage. You're not going to do anything, even if you're the best carriage maker in the world, That's number one rule for me now.
Now let's talk about this book that your children gave you for your 85th birthday. The ending goes something like this. I'm an old man. I'm now 85 years old. I'm no longer little John. I am now Big John, who weighs over 200 pounds. You really weigh over 200 pounds?
Yes, unfortunately.
I have a good wife and a good family. I am happy. Do you think you've achieved everything you wanted to in life?
No. Two things that I wanted to do, but I didn't have the money or the time to be able to learn Mandarin and to play an instrument. I played piano for 6 years. When my father died, I had no more money to pay for the piano teacher. So, and Mandarin is the same thing. These two things I miss. Otherwise, I think I've fulfilled my duty to the family, to God, and to country.
You say you want to keep the business within the family. Why is that important to you?
The family should be able to be responsible for the business. That means they have control over the fortunes of the business. This is important. I've seen also in Europe, it's not very much in the U.S., but in Europe, a lot of most of the companies, or maybe 50%, are run by families. BMW, Mercedes. In America, slowly out because of taxation and all that. For me, I believe that the children, it's at least it's the heritage. They have to take care of it. But I have, as I said, I have given half of my fortune to the foundation. So
Why did you do that?
I like to help in the education of the child. I've been giving since I was 30 years old. I've been giving to schools. I gave a building when I was only 30. At that time I was still struggling, but I decided, it's a good thing to help society.
So it wasn't simply to stop your children from squabbling over their inheritance?
No. They still have half. If they want to squabble, they can squabble over the other half.
Do you think there's certain advantages to family businesses?
Especially when you're starting, yes. First, you know each other. You know also that they're gonna work and not just resign when they don't like it. With professionals, you always have the problem of they're resigning because somebody is offering a better job. And all that. So it's hard to look for a new one. Well, if you have a relative, or he stays. Like my brothers, they stayed with me all their lives.
You're
like
talking about
James.
loyalty.
I think that's very critical. And secondly, you can tell them basically all the things that should be told. And thirdly, which is most important, you know their capabilities. Because if you get a professional, you don't really know their capability. I made some errors in hiring professionals. After you hire them, then you found out that they're lemons, But it's too late. You have to fire them. But with your family, you've grown with them, you give them a small job, they increase. You know exactly what they can do. But that's changing also, because when your business grows big enough, you run out of relatives.
So you're forced to look to outside.
You
To
have
bring in
to
people.
also bring talent, like airlines, telephone, petrochemical. You cannot hire your own customer because they don't know anything about the business. You have to get real pros for this.
Your son, Lance Gokongwei, will ultimately inherit the company. What advice would you give him on how to run or carry on the family business?
As far as fundamentals are concerned, I would like him to follow my methods.
What
as
are
far
your
as
methods?
running the business, going to new areas, that's his business. But about honesty, integrity, hard work, all this should not change.
And finally, how do you want to be remembered? How does John Gokongwei want to be remembered? What sort of legacy do you want to leave behind?
To set an example for the young people in the Philippines, that you can achieve without really resorting to measures that are not exactly right. That you can do it, and that if you make enough money, you should also give back to society what you earned. And I have been doing that. In fact, it's going to be more and more now because I've given half and the dividends from the shares will be used to spend for schools and students. That's part of the legacy. I want to stress a lot of education of the youth.
A legendary figure who will continue to inspire for generations to come. This is Managing Asia's special tribute to Mr. John Gokongwei. I'm Christine Tan. Thanks for watching. Hi, I'm Christine Tan, and thanks for watching Managing Asia. Do check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thanks for watching.